Hello everybody, welcome to Just One Perspective. My name is Josh. Today's drink of choice is this 20-year single malt scotch Aberfeldy. It's delicious. If you can, get yourself a bottle. It's fantastic. I'm changing up my equipment a little bit. I've got a new camera, but I don't have the microphone quite set up for it yet, so that's why I'm holding this thing. You might notice I've got earbuds in my ears just so that I can monitor the sounds and make sure that you all can hear me as we chat. Normally I just record with this thing. Oh look, and there's a photo of me and my mom. But normally I just record with that. It's my old phone. It's about 5 years old, and it does a pretty good job. But hey, I got a new camera. Want to try it out? Maybe I'll get one of those shotgun mics, put it on top of there, and just have it point straight at me. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about A Tale of Two Developers. I've recorded this once already, and I have kind of a script here. Normally I don't go by a script, but today it felt like I needed to go through this point by point fairly clearly so that you could really understand the parable. But then I didn't like the way it sounded, so I'm going to go through it again. Okay, I'm going to tell you a parable about two developers, and I'm going to try to keep it a little bit more conversational than the last time I recorded it, which was a little bit more robotic, I think, because I just read off the script. So, two developers. All right, consider the first developer. Okay, so he receives requirements, and some of them don't make a whole lot of sense, but he codes to their specifications anyway. He doesn't ask questions, he doesn't take it back, none of that. He just assumes that it's correct, and then he codes to the specifications. He doesn't provide updates to his boss unless he's specifically asked to. So he sits at his desk, and he works on the code, and he doesn't give updates unless he's specifically asked to. Afterward, he provides his code to the QA team once he's finished, and then he moves on to the next set of requirements. Okay, he just hands his code over to the QA team, and he doesn't give them any explanation. He doesn't tell them what it's for. He doesn't even tell them which project it's for. But hey, that's not his job, right? That should be the QA team handling all of that. So QA comes back with several questions for him. They don't know which database he connected to because it was obfuscated in configuration, right, which he's normally supposed to do. But now they don't know what test data he was using. So they're struggling to actually match up what the code is supposed to do to the test data to make sure that they're getting a valid test. So they have to come back to him. He sets down his current work, and he goes and meets with QA and helps them understand exactly what he was coding to and what he was coding for, maybe even the project that it was for. Okay, eventually this code is released into production, and several days later, the operations or the monitoring team raises a red flag. There's a problem with the service that the code was deployed to. Okay, so the boss asks the developer to go and help the monitoring team troubleshoot what this problem might be. But hey, the developer is just a developer. He's not a troubleshooter. He's not a production support specialist or anything like that. And he admits as much to his boss. He says, that's not my job. I don't really do that. But the boss harasses him. And after harassing him enough, the developer finally relents and says, okay, I guess I'll go help that other team. And he does so. And quickly they find out that there was a missed requirement that caused business logic issues that also created memory issues downstream. So, not the developer's fault, right? Missed requirement. QA didn't catch it either. So since the business analyst and the QA developers are at fault for what happened here, he does not take any further action. He moves on to the next set of requirements, moves on to the next code that he is expected to write. Now consider for a moment developer 2, who takes a little bit different approach. Instead of just accepting the requirements, he attends the requirements meeting, and he actively works with the attendees, including the business analyst and anybody else who might be there, to flesh out the requirements. And during that meeting, he realizes they left out a crucial requirement, so he helps them document it so that it will be captured for later, so that he doesn't forget to add it to the code, okay? During development, instead of waiting for his boss to ask for updates, he proactively and regularly provides updates to his boss. He doesn't need to be asked. He just does it, okay? One day, and he also sends it to his project manager. One day, after updating his project manager, the PM asks a clarifying question, and together they realize they missed another small but crucial requirement, okay? So the developer adds it to the code. Bullet dodged. He helped it. He helped find that bullet and then help dodge it. And then once the code is complete, he meets with the QA team to ensure that they understand the environment he used, the test data he used, the databases he connected to. He doesn't just hand it off to them and say, there you go test it. He goes and meets with them to ensure full understanding and all the assumptions that he made while writing the code. QA wraps up fairly quickly and finds no bugs. So eventually this code is deployed into production, okay? But despite everybody's best efforts, the monitoring team discovers a problem with the service. This developer 2, does not wait to be told that he needs to go help troubleshoot. He doesn't wait for his boss to harass him. He goes and immediately helps the monitoring or production support team troubleshoot the bug that was implemented with his code. And together they identify a quick and thankfully simple break fix. It's put into place and production stabilizes. So this parable might feel like it's more about a story of teamwork, but it's not so much that as it is the approach that developer 1 took compared to developer 2. Okay, both developers continue this pattern of behavior for some time. Developer 1's projects are regularly late, but it's never his fault. Okay, and developer 2's projects are usually delivered on time. Eventually, the boss promotes developer 2 up into a lead role. Developer 1 complains to his colleagues that he has been treated poorly by the company and he has not been promoted despite all of his best efforts, and he should be a lead or a senior at this point. Okay, so most important about this parable is the way the 2 developers approach their projects and the way they see themselves operating within those projects. Developer 1 sees himself constantly as a victim of circumstance. The BA didn't do this. QA didn't do this. They didn't do this. My boss didn't do this. It's not my fault. Not my fault the project is late. Whereas developer 2 saw himself as a regular, active participant in every single step of the process. He took ownership of the success of the project and not just of the writing or the development of the code itself. He took steps to ensure that he was influencing every single part of that process in a positive manner, okay? He never stopped to say, that's not my job. He didn't just throw his code over the wall. He took ownership and he sought opportunity where responsibility had been abdicated. And sometimes responsibility hadn't even been abdicated. It's just that it is a team effort, and a team effort means everybody needs to step up more than just what their initial role is. You might just be a developer, but that doesn't mean that you are immune to the requirements and responsibilities of an overall project and being a member of an overall project team. And this, one thing that developer 1 is in danger of by saying that's not my job so often is that he reduces his duties so much that one day maybe the boss will say, wow, so nothing's your job. So get out because you don't have a job here anymore because you didn't want to do anything. So this parable extends beyond software development, right? This isn't just something that you'll run into in software development. This is a life skill. Are you the kind of person who will one day just be sitting on the street looking around and saying, look what they did to me, living homeless? It's a little exaggerated, right? But are you just going to be sitting on the side of the street saying, look what they did to me? Just a victim of circumstance your entire life. You were never an actor. You were only somebody to be acted upon. Or are you going to achieve some modicum of success and look around and say, look what I've managed to do despite the challenges that life threw at me? I recommend you be number 2. Look around. See what you can positively influence. If you're on a project team and you're a developer, you're not just there to write code. You're there to ensure that you understand the code, others around you understand the code, and that the code goes into production smoothly, and if there's any problems, you're there to support it. Same goes with life. You're not just there to live. You're there to figure everything out along the way and make sure that it works well, and that the people around you work well, and that you're influencing everything as well, and not just saying, look what they did to me, and just sitting there and being the receptacle of everybody else's actions. That's not what you should be doing. And if you do, feel free to blame everybody else. But just know that that's a choice. It's your choice to sit there and just accept it and be a victim. Some people like it. I don't. And I don't think you should either. Hold yourself to a higher standard, and your life will be better. All right. So, talked about software development, expanded it to a life lesson. I hope that's helpful, and I hope if you're a developer and you're hearing this, that it's helpful and you have some actions that you can take going back to work. And if you're not a developer, I hope it still helped as well. Thank you all so much for listening. That's my message today. Feel free to share this video with anybody who it might help, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one. Stay vigilant.